told you that I didn't really like flowers, what would you say? I mean, sure, they're not horrible to look at, with the vibrancy of the red, the allure of the soft and silky petals, the shine of the stem. But try and pick up a beautiful rose and you're left with a sharp pain from grabbing the thorn-coated stem. Plus, in a few days, the flowers are going to die, and what would I be left with? If I told you that I didn't really like flowers, in fact, if I told you that I hated them, what would you say? Maybe you'd call me crazy, or maybe you'd say I was underappreciative, or maybe you'd say, hate. Hate is a pretty strong word, isn't it? And it is a strong word. Unfortunately, it's used far too often, not only as a word, but as a basis for our society today. We all have a tendency to resort to hatred at some point in our lives. It's merely the extent of this hatred that varies. It's almost too easy to mask sorrow with hatred. It's almost too easy to find a reason to be angry. For me, it could be a rude person on the street, discrimination, inequality. There's always a reason. Over the past few years, the use of social media and technology has grown exponentially, granting us the luxury of instantaneous communication. But with benefits come drawbacks, one being a side that is less frequently talked about. While social media allows for instantaneous communication, often the messages being communicated are not the most positive. In fact, social media has become a breeding ground for negativity, promoting a growing culture of hate. Now, whether it be racism, whether it be inequality, whether it be societal pressures, whether it be personal insecurity, social media is an ample platform for haters to band together, spreading negative viewpoints, targeting other groups in cruel ways instantaneously. On top of the lightning communication, social media allows for messages to be spread exponentially, with one post being republished millions of times, a tweet being retweeted time after time, a video being shared till the spread of hatred is endless. And when did our world become so filled with hate? I remember I had a family member who played hockey. He went to a game just like any other day, and after both teams got into a small fight, he got injured. So he lay there on the ice, face covered in blood, eyes swollen, cheeks cut, while a man in the stands yelled at him, swore, yelled racial slurs, and yet those seated around him remained seated, acted as if nothing was happening, as if this act of hatred was the norm. But how much easier is this same spread of hatred when social media allows for it to be amplified, a ripple effect? When I was in the second grade, I had to look up a news article for a current events project of mine. Honestly, at the time, not really being one to pay attention to the news, I surprisingly quickly found one that intrigued me. So I scrolled through the comments, finishing up the article, and at 7 years old, innocent as could be, I noticed a trend. Almost every comment had some form of hatred in it. Let me read some of the comments out to you. That's the problem. Immigrants that don't understand our language hasn't figured out what stop means yet. Take your turban off, respect your country. Maybe if women spent a little less time fighting for their rights and a little more time working, they'd make up for it. But the thing is, I didn't even have to experience it. I just had to watch. This instance is only one of a multitude, and yet it still has great impacts. When hatred becomes the basis of a society, all actions become infused with negativity. Society in which everyone loves, supports, is positive, is the best environment for growth, the best environment for everyone to feel welcome. So now, even if a completely concrete action can't be taken, perhaps a more general solution can be applied instead. However, altering the mindsets of people is often extremely difficult, and hatred arises from flawed ideologies, uninformed thinking. But maybe fighting fire with fire isn't helping. If we could counteract this atmosphere of negativity, of hate-infused ideologies, we could promote a culture of love and positivity instead. We know that social media allows for instantaneous communication so we can alter the norm, use it to our advantage. If being hateful shifted from normal to absurd, embarrassing behavior, the inclination to resort to hatred would reduce significantly. People would feel embarrassed to post that hateful comment. They'd be seen as insane for retweeting that racist tweet. One act of kindness can be amplified, passed on to more and more and more people. So use Facebook to spread love, share videos that will positively influence others, retweet tweets that will make others happy, and always be aware of the effect that words can have. If I told you that I didn't really like flowers, in fact, if I told you that I hated them, what would you say? Maybe you'd tell me to think twice before I use such a strong word like hate. And instead of resorting to hatred, I should focus on more positive aspects instead. Maybe I should realize that there's really no way I can get rid of these thorns, but what I can do is promote the beauty of the petal, the shine of the stem, grow positivity, not hatred. They're actually